Welcome to Learning Tips for Student Parents. The purpose of this video is to provide tips that will support you in your learning and success. We will cover caring for yourself, caring for your child and home, time management, task management, and study tips. Hi students, my name is Dina Martin. I am a librarian at Woodland Community College. I am also a parent. I have two children. One is age 18 and the other one is 18 months old. When my first child was born, I immediately started grad school and graduated with a master's in library and information science. My current young child, I was at home during the first year because I was granted leave for professional development. During that time, I took classes while also caring for my infant. I am currently working remotely from home now that he is 18 months old. So I hope these tips will prove helpful. If not, please let me know if there's another way I can support you, and I'll be happy to do that from parent to parent. Self-care is very important. If you are not at your best, then you can't give your best to your child or studies. Self-care enhances your health, prevents or limits illness, and can be restorative. Self-care is up to you and can take into account your needs, capabilities, and interest. It is important for you to find ways to care for yourself that takes care of your mental and physical health. Education is a form of self-help, so you are already nurturing yourself by being a student, but it can be challenging to balance this priority with your other priorities like your family. Maintaining relationships with friends and family will help you. If you do not have friends and family available to talk to, many communities have parent groups that support each other. Baby and Me Meetup Woodland is one example of a local parent group based in Woodland. They did meet in person prior to COVID, but now they meet online and also have Facebook to continue to support each other. Parenting children while rewarding is also challenging. COVID closures has shown many people just how social we are as humans. If you can ask for help and it is safe to receive help, consider asking for it. Help could include some playtime with your child so you can study. Besides maintaining positive relationships, it is also important for all of us to care for ourselves through creativity, understanding and accepting ourselves, spirituality, and structured routines. We will talk about routines more later. It is important to do something for yourself every day that you enjoy to recharge your energy. Even a small amount of time doing something you enjoy will make you feel better. Watching a portion of a television show or movie, reading or listening to a book, taking a few minutes just to breathe in and out in a quiet place, or whatever you enjoy will help you do everything else you need to do. It is widely accepted due to countless studies by health professionals that exercise and eating healthy is important to our physical and mental health. Even small amounts of exercise are beneficial and can make you feel more energized. Now that we need to take air quality into account before exercising outdoors, it is nice to have a lot of options for indoor exercise. YouTube has a wide variety of indoor exercise videos to choose from that will help you keep your fitness levels up. When you grocery shop, bring home lots of healthy foods to choose from. Nutrient-dense foods will make you feel better and think better than foods which lack nutrients. And chances are this is exactly what you want your children to be eating. When you care for yourself, caring for others will be easier because you will feel less stressed and more motivated. The same things you do for yourself are also important for your children. They also need both mental and physical care from you until they become more independent as they grow up. I find that if I spend small amounts of time throughout the day with my child, it helps him play independently, which gives me time to focus on work. Just little bits of time connecting allow both of us to thrive. I simply sit on the floor and allow my child to direct what we do. Many times he brings me a book or a toy to look at. Sometimes I will sing a song or talk about something he brought me. My own pediatrician has encouraged me to take my child for walks when it is safe to do so. I always check air quality before going outdoors. This helps me to meet my needs for exercise by walking or jogging with my child in a stroller. He also gets to walk on his own for some time, so he gets to move around outdoors since physical health is also important for his growth and development. If we can't walk, I put on a walking video on YouTube and my little one can be near me while I do it. I avoid doing a video workout that is high intensity so I don't hurt my child from jumping or kicking quickly. If you have older children, have them find workouts and try them together as a family. Feeding your child healthy foods is important as feeding yourself healthy foods. I found that planning out meals ahead of time has many benefits. One benefit is that I'm not scrambling at the last minute to figure out what to feed him. Another is that I know I'm more likely to serve healthier foods since I know what to buy at the store. Since I have a list, I only buy stuff that will help me make the meals I planned for, so I save money by not buying ingredients that I don't use. I can also plan meals around what I have at home, which also saves money since I'm not wasting food that I purchased previously. Meal planning doesn't need to be anything fancy. For example, I plan on oatmeal for breakfast 2 to 3 times a week and eggs 2 to 3 times a week. I also have a lunch and dinner rotation that I use to make meal planning, grocery shopping, and healthy eating easier to accomplish. I usually plan out a week at a time. By doing this, it takes me less effort and energy than it does if I did not meal plan. It does take a little effort when you first start doing this and when you want to revise your recipes or system, but it is worth it. It isn't too hard to try new things or find substitutes when my child doesn't like food or recipes. I'm always on the lookout for recipes with healthy veggies and enough other ingredients that mask the taste or textures he doesn't like. The first step in setting up a system is to identify things you like to eat within the level of effort you want to set aside for cooking. Many of us will not need to cook every night since there will be leftovers. You can also freeze leftovers for quick meals that only require reheating. Some nights you may plan for a frozen pizza or takeout, which is especially helpful on the busiest days when you know you don't have time to make something. It is a good idea to check your calendar when you meal plan so you can plan on what will work best for you. I'm willing to share my tools and recipes I found that I feel require a little effort or help you set up a system that makes it easier for you to focus on your education. We can also do an online workshop where we go through the steps of starting a meal planning system to keep you and your children fueled up for learning and growth. Keeping your home safe and clean is also important. Life is messy and part of our life is spent having to clean up after ourselves and children. So I felt this topic had a place in this video because we spend time on this every day. Having safe and clean places for your child or children to play will be great for their development and will help give you peace of mind and space to focus on your tasks. Since keeping a clean environment is important and helpful, like meal planning, with some advanced planning, these tasks will feel like it takes less effort and you will feel much better, which will help you focus on other tasks like learning. Consider creating lists for daily, weekly, and monthly cleaning. Everyday cleaning tasks are things like dishes and cleaning food and eating areas. Weekly and monthly will depend on your space, time, and personal preferences. When it comes to house cleaning and tidiness, I suggest going for good because good is good enough. You have plenty of other things to do than have a perfectly clean and tidy house. Since these tasks are important, we will want to make sure we recognize the time and effort and block out our time to help us get this done. Therefore, time management is what we will talk about next. Everyone gets the same amount of time in the day, but some people get more done than others. Many people with high productivity use tools that help them manage their time. I suggest creating and using 2 tools to help you with your time management: a block schedule and a calendar. These 2 tools will work together to help you identify and organize your time. A block schedule should include your must-do tasks that you will need or want to commit to every week. These would include daily tasks such as meals and daily cleaning tasks, as well as your work schedule if you work and your study schedule. While you are learning remotely, you do not need to be in class at a specific time, but recognizing the time it takes and committing yourself to a schedule to work on learning tasks will help you ensure you complete your coursework and have time for your children, home, and yourself. Every unit you take equals about 3 hours of work a week. A 3-unit class takes about 9 hours per week to complete activities ranging from reading, watching, writing, discussing, and review. This is why a full load of classes is equivalent to a full-time job. Use the block schedule to commit yourself to working on your classes each week. Think strategically about how you arrange the schedule. Most people will like to get the hardest stuff done first, so you may choose to schedule to work on your hardest class earlier in the day. You may also consider working on your hardest class during your child's nap time. The idea is to create a schedule based on your goals as well as your own personal situation. You can also write in your own personal self-care time to help remind you to take the time for yourself. If you have older kids, sharing your schedule with them could help them respect your time. You can create a block schedule for your children or have them create their own. Their school may have provided a schedule for their coursework, but you can add any other activities they have to it. This is a sample block schedule of a student taking 13 units consisting of English 1A and English 1AX, Math 20, and Psych 1A through remote learning. These 3 classes equals 39 hours of work per week. When we return to in-person classes, the schedule will look a little different since some of those 3 hours per unit would be spent in a classroom on lecture time. As you can see, these 3 classes fill up the schedule. Additionally, I added common life tasks such as meals, home planning, and household chores. I used Google Calendar to create this. Once all the blocks are created, it is easy to move stuff around. Perhaps you would like to have a little more time on Saturday, so we can move this hour of learning and studying for Psych 1A over to Sunday afternoon. This example also includes task lists for the routines and chores, which I did to respect the time and effort that goes into doing these tasks and to make sure to account for that time on this example. Many calendars such as Google will allow you to create multiple calendars that you can hide and activate to see. This means that it would be easy to use for your daily calendar, block schedule, and children's calendars. You can also import your Canvas calendar into Google Calendar to see all your assignment due dates, allowing you to get everything in one place. You can also share calendars with your older children or other family members. You can find the calendar feed in Canvas on the lower right corner of the calendar view. Once you have this URL, it is easy to add it to Google. You use a calendar with your block schedule to track due dates, important class activities, as well as irregular changes to your schedule, such as a doctor's appointment. I also write down to-do lists on my calendar. You may also need to note important information and dates for your child since you're responsible for helping them meet them. Your block schedule can help you schedule your irregular tasks with your calendar. If you know your child naps from 12:30 to 2:30, you'll probably not want to schedule a doctor's appointment or plan to go grocery shopping at that time. Canvas has a calendar that shows all your due dates, and you can add other events to it. You can also import the Canvas calendar into another calendar such as Google Calendar. Some may prefer to use a paper calendar or planner. No matter which method you choose, if you don't plan your time, then it just slips away. Once you have your time blocked, then it is time to consider what to do during those blocks. Chances are reading, writing, completing assignments, and review will be part of the time you blocked for your classes. You also want to identify what and when to complete other tasks for your home and your children. It can be very helpful to break down larger tasks into smaller tasks. For example, if you have to read a chapter, write a discussion post, and respond to 2 students, you may only read the chapter and write a rough draft of your response one day. The next day, you would revise your discussion and submit it to Canvas and respond to 1 student. The following day, you would respond to a second student. Since you have the due dates tracked on your calendar, you can create a task list based on your due dates. If you are taking your child to a doctor's appointment, you can plan your tasks around it so you're not stressing out trying to finish a task that you didn't realistically have enough time to accomplish. You can also do this for meals or cleaning. For example, I may take a whole day to make dinner, but I'm only spending short amounts of time on tasks such as chopping veggies and placing them into the oven at lunchtime, and then mixing them with other ingredients while getting the afternoon stack ready, and then adding any final ingredients and cooking the recipe at dinner time. By doing this, it feels like dinner takes less effort at dinner time since I split up and completed small tasks earlier in the day. Review time is very important to studying, especially for classes that will assess your knowledge of the content through exams, which leads us to our next topic, study tips. I hope you recognize the time and effort it takes to learn successfully by seeing how much time to block out on your block schedule. But if you do not see that yet, what I'm going to tell you next may change your mind. Learning is not a one-and-done task. To really learn course content, you must make studying that content an ongoing task. When we learn something, study shows that what we remember decreases every day. As you can see on this calendar, 46% of what you are learning in this video will be gone tomorrow. Each week, what you will remember will decrease until you are only left with 5%, which means by the time you take that midterm or final exam, your brain will not be able to recall the information you learned. Is there anything you can do about this? Yes, there is. Review. Have no fear that you can overcome the forgetting curve. With regular review, you can help your brain recall the information. You review new information more frequently at first and less frequently as time goes by. If you spend time on reviewing materials throughout the semester, instead of cramming it all in the week of midterms or finals, you will be able to recall more of the content. You will also feel more prepared, which results in feeling less stressed, and you will earn higher grades. This is why blocking out your time to work on your coursework and review is critical. Let's talk a little bit more about studying. We usually suggest studying in the morning or afternoon as opposed to late at night. Although those are still the best times, if they don't work for your situation, you may need to spend some time studying each night after your children are in bed. It is best to study in isolation to avoid distractions, but this probably isn't feasible if you're at home with kids. Instead, you'll need to make sure your children have a safe environment to play while you work on your studies. Older children will need an area of their own for classes, since they may need to talk, and that would be a distraction for you. If you do not have the space to isolate everyone, using headphones will help everyone. If your children need to work nearby, you can play music or white noise while you work through your own headphones. As far as how long to study, I suggest working in about 25-minute blocks, maybe 20 minutes if you have younger children, and then spend 5 or 10 minutes playing and relaxing. You would then repeat this several times before taking a longer break, such as lunch or dinner. The 25-minute block of working with a 5-minute break is called the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro method aligns with the spacing effect, which numerous studies show that students retain more information if they space out studying. This is especially helpful for repetitive review, but this also will help you get tasks started and concentrate, since you're committing yourself to short amounts of focused time. While I was planning this video out, I came across a website that had scholarships listed for parents, so I wanted to make sure to share that. If you need any help organizing your time and essential home tasks, I'm happy to help you apply what you learned in this video or help you identify other tips that will be useful. Don't forget, the library, including me, is available to help you regardless of your location or world events. See you later!